Hello and welcome. I thought I'd make this video while I take a break from the construction. I'll just very quickly show you we've got more roof sections in place, and it's been a beautiful challenge in upcycling using the resources we've got, but that isn't the topic of this video. I'll feature that when I have more to show you, when it's nearer completion. What I did want to talk about was a video that was screened last night. Started at 10 o'clock last night. I got the notification and I thought, oh, it's really too late in the day. But I managed to watch 2 hours of it before the phone died. It had gone completely down to zero on the battery. Invariably, when I put a video on, I have my eyes shut and I listen rather than actually watch. The video in question is from Archaix channel. It is this this topic, what's it called? Satan's Little Season. It's something I'd not heard of. It's not come up in any notifications, no doubt because of the algorithms, and they know what sort of things I watch and what sort of videos to sort of recommend to me to watch. So if you want to know what this Satan's Little Season is all about, then I'm going to refer you, and I'm going to put in a link in the description to the Archaix video. I would recommend that you watch it. Now, regardless of which way you take this new theory, it rests upon one fundamental of it, and that is that Jesus Christ was an historical character that walked around on this earth. I refer you to the playlist Jesus Christ on this channel, where I show from multiple videos from different channels, different perspectives, that it is an archetype and it is a fusion of many things in this concocted story. So this Satan's little secret would not have worked on me anyway. But what what became apparent was the pattern that I can see in this, and that's what I'd like to talk to you about. It's something I've referred to, and it is an expression often used if a relationship between two people comes to an end, and then the one will jump into a new relationship. It's called being on the rebound. Is there evidence of this in this realm from other perspectives? And the answer is yes to that. What I've suggested is, when you look up at the sky, these things you see as stars, the sun, the moon, and so on, are basically a bounce back, a reflection. You're seeing an interaction of something with something else. So just like electricity, you can't see electricity, but you will see it, say, if telegraph cables snap and they make contact with the ground, then you'll see the sparks, you'll see the interaction of two things. This is what I suggest, and sort of encapsulates the whole idea of the external world is a reflection. So what you're seeing is a bounce back. You'll see this in the world of politics. You can liken it to a rubber band, and say with a catapult, for example, where if we take the collective as being a pebble, is a reference here in a way to David and Goliath, where David picks up 5 pebbles and puts one in the slingshot, and then pulls back the or if it was a catapult, you would pull it back. So it creates a tension. It gets attention and it creates a tension. You'll see this in the world of politics, this pendulum swing, where a nation will be pushed in a certain direction, say with a blue political party, so people get so fed up, that tension will then create that release of that catapult, and everybody will swing over to the red party. So it's this rebound effect that's being played all the time. You'll see it with religions as well. It's interesting that you have the Roman Catholic Church, a sort of branch of Christianity, that has maintained itself, but the Protestant part of Christianity has splintered into all little groups. Again, it's this whole rebound thing. It reinforces this whole belief in there being an historical Jesus. So what is the purpose which follows this rebound pattern with this Satan's little season? Well, for some that take this Jesus Christ as being an historical character, as Jason rightly pointed out, if you did have that belief and you were then faced with this story and you believed that story, that you've missed the boat, that the reign of 1,000 years of Christ has been and gone, and you've missed it. Can you imagine what that would do internally to you? How that would create a very sort of negative feeling inside you, and that is the energetic purpose of that for those that fall for it. But it's like the story of the return of Christ comes with a sword in place of the tongue. It's a double-edged sword. The theory is quite a weak one anyway. So what that will also create, those that realise that they've been played, will further strengthen their belief in this historical character. Those that don't fall for it, that are still clinging to that belief system, it will also make them more resilient to hold on to that belief system. These are just ways of creating a tension to cause an opposite effect, just like if you pull the rubber band back and then you release it, the same pattern. This is all to do with coming events that are beginning to play out, where humanity is pushed in a certain direction and then the opposite, the pendulum swing. It's two hands working together that's trying to scoop people, energetically harvest them by putting them into a negative state. So that pattern is clearly in this whole Satan's little season story. It's just a theory, and it just falls apart very easily. And I feel that Archaix and the sources he quotes definitely proves this beyond any doubt whatsoever. Was there anything else I wish to say on this? Yes, what I find a lot of the time is when you look at something external and you weigh it up, what it generally does, if you look in deep enough to it, I don't mean look at necessarily the details, but if you look in deep enough inside yourself, what you will get is confirmation of what your intuition is already telling you. So this J Dreamers channel, for example, I did subscribe for a very short while and something didn't feel right with it. The intuition was saying this isn't right. So I unsubscribed. And finding out his track record, know a man by the fruits, as it were, he is something else. And I almost feel sorry for him in a way, but I don't have any sympathy for what may happen to him, because it'll be of all of his own making, because he is sold out. I don't wish it upon him, but at the same time, the stunts that he has pulled shows him to be quite a despicable character. There are no doubt many other channels that are like that. I'm not going to go into naming and shaming, but it is something to be aware of. Where is that information taking you? Is it causing a tension inside you? And then watch out for that release, that spring back, because nobody likes to feel that they have been played, they have been fooled. But part of that mechanism is to create the opposite reaction, and it is all reaction. So do look at all these things, but always internalize them, because that is where you will find the answers. That reminds me of something else. I don't want to make this video too long, and I hope Jason will feature this on a future Archaix video. It was in the question and answers video, the previous one, and the question I asked was, is there any evidence of 138 within the human body, within the physiology? I got a very nice reply with a link that goes into the sort of scientific side of RNA and things. But let's just take the numbers 138. Now, if you add them together, you're going to get 12. So we can certainly see that that is a reference to 12. Now, have we got that inside of us? The answer is yes. You have 12 ribs that make up the rib cage. You have 12 systems. You have a requirement for 12 essential salts for the body. And of course, you have 12 cranial nerves. So you have plenty of evidence. So you've got 4 lots of 12 there for a start. The Great Pyramid of Giza is in its functionality. I've said this before, that I see it as an architectural representation of human physiology. So if it is such that you have this power source that converts energy, that shoots out the top of the pyramid, you can liken that to the Kundalini rising that goes on inside. So when we talk about such things as the phoenix rising from the ashes, I would also suggest that you have an internal phoenix inside you. And certainly if you have been played and you realize you've been played, you realize that you've been deceived, then that belief system, when it falls apart, it may feel like your world has collapsed around that belief system, but you can rise from the ashes from that. So is that such a bad thing, to actually be fooled to some extent? I mean, I'm going to be the first to say that I've certainly been fooled by things before. I cited the Eye of the Sahara in a video many years ago, saying, oh look, this conforms to the whole idea of Atlantis. I leave these videos up there because I'm not going to deny, and I'm not going to hide and say I've got all the answers and I've got it right. We learn best through making mistakes. It comes back to an analogy that I often like to use about learning to walk. It is through determination, it is through sheer willpower and seeing it through to the end that we learn to walk, and it becomes second nature. No longer do you have to consciously think about putting one foot in front of the other. It becomes automatic. But of course, within that process of learning to walk, we're going to fall over. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to trip up. It's a pattern to this reality. But are we going to just give up the first time we fall? Well, the answer surely is no to that. The answer is to keep going, to not see these mistakes as mistakes, but to see that they are a valuable asset that leads us to the point we are at this present time, in the moment. So don't feel shame if you've been fooled by something. Just know that you've just not looked into something deep enough. You've not used critical thinking. You've not listened to your intuition that is there to guide you, and it always does. I can go back to the earliest memories of this avatar, not least the first day of school, and just knowing intuitively that there was something not quite right with anything about it. It just didn't feel right. But of course, as a child, you don't even know what you can point to say, this is the problem, this is why I feel it's not right. But that feeling is unshakable. It doesn't leave you. And it may take many decades to actually come to that realization of why that feeling was always there. But what a beautiful experience that actually turns out to be. So, as much as anything else, a weakness becomes a strength, comes to mind here, because falling for things, learning from the mistakes, shows a certain amount of vulnerability. But from that vulnerability, well, I can't even say the word, it must be another retrograde. But the vulnerability does become a strength. I've had many experiences where this has been shown to me as well. Things like panic attacks. If you find yourself in certain situations, and this is from personal testimony, a panic attack, a feeling of anxiety, if you can control that feeling, actually does become a strength, because you can turn a situation round so it actually works in your benefit. I'm not going to go into the details now because it's going to make this video too long and we're sort of going off on a tangent. But I could not have shown the evidence that this stupid theory is just a theory and it is there to mislead. But what I can see from it, it follows the same pattern as everything else. It is quite clear that, we'll take religion as an example, or we could take advertising. There will be a certain amount of truth. We could even take politics. A political candidate will say the things that you like or you want to hear, and it will lead you down a certain road. There may well be, and invariably there is, an element of truth at the basis, because you cannot build a lie on a lie. It has to have a foundation of truth, and for something to draw people in, there always has to be that element of truth. You think, oh yeah, this seems right, this feels right, because of what they're saying. But not if you start looking a bit deeper. If you just take things on blind faith, then you are setting yourself up for a fall. But through that comes a greater awareness. It equips you so you're not caught out again. But if we can make the same mistakes over and over again, and we do that by not internalizing sufficiently, not learning the lessons from the experiences we've had. And that is all you're going to take out from this reality, is the experience. So I do recommend that you watch this Archaix video. That I'm going to put a link in the description. It may be you've not come across this theory. It may be that you wouldn't be falling for it anyway. But for those of you that do, just be aware that you're being played, you're being caught on the rebound, and I certainly couldn't have given you the evidence to disprove it, because I'm not a chronologist. I come from things at a different perspective, but I feel it comes back to that saying, if something is true, it can be seen from multiple angles. So I'm just giving you my own perspective on things here and noticing the patterns. If you see the patterns in things, that is going to be an enormous benefit to you, and it is one of the things I talk about in these courses that I offer to you, amongst many other things. Always for you to help find your true self, that journey of discovery of yourself. So it empowers you to be the best version of yourself, and through that then become benevolent and help others. So, right, we're up to 20 minutes and 44 seconds. Notice, see the 4-4 again. So I'm going to end it there. Do check out the description. It's a bit long-winded. I've got to revamp it, I feel. But my only source of income is through what I can offer you through YouTube. I don't have any external income. And the only other thing is asking for donations, which it's getting to the point I'm going to have to again. I don't like doing it, but I'm also going with this is also a test to stay true to self, to stay true to what I've already visioned. Same as with this canopy, and coming from the visioning and then not trying to think it through. But I do enjoy the challenge of upcycling and using the resources I've got. That is also a reflection of use the resources you've got. Well, the biggest resource you've got is the intuition, learning the language of the body, being able to internalize something, being able to look at the external things and weigh it up inside yourself, move past all these superficial aspects of anything and penetrate the deeper levels, and how it will confirm what your intuition is telling you. So I'm going to end this by saying, as always, unconditional love to you on this beautiful day. It's I thought it was time to take a break because it's full sun. My back has definitely caught the sun. It's a little bit sore, so I'm staying covered up today. But I'm getting this construction done following what I've already visioned. This is the taking action, as it were, because the physical body is what is required to actually do the construction, just following what is coming through from the vision, which is being acknowledged, and the answers, the solutions are coming through as mind pictures. Oh, you've got that material there you can use. You've got that over there. Things I wouldn't have necessarily thought of if I'd have tried to consciously think about this construction. Anyway, that's it for this video. I hope that has made sense to you. I hope that has also emphasize the need to recognize the patterns about this reality and how things can then become a strength to you rather than being yet more confusion. So as always, unconditional love to you all.